All right, Mr. Shaw.
Okay.
All right, do me a favor. Look on the bottom of your screen. And do you see
Yes.
anything? Do you see a globe icon or anything that says interpretation?
Mm-mm. I have participation chat, reaction, share screen, or more. Let's see. Settings, stop incoming, return to default, request for host to record to the cloud. No, no interpreting.
When you joined, did you join by a link or by a number?
I joined by uh, the link that provided to me on the email.
Did you get a new link?
Oh, you know what? I don't know if does the email's address maybe using my wife's email address because that was initially it was requested through my wife
Well, I
and
think that that is probably the issue. I think
uh,
I think
can be
you have to follow that link that was sent to hers unless we
That's the one I put in though, it's the link that is under her name, not his.
the email that you just provided to us, is that her email or your?
she forwarded to me all the follow-up emails and one of was the coordinator's email has the link on it. That's the one I called. I click, but I think the original request, the link was directed to my wife and her email address.
So you're clicking on the link from your wife's email that we sent it to. So
Right.
But is he logged for his wife's account or his account?
are you logged in under your wife's account using her email or your own personal account using your email?
I log on my own account, Zoom.
Can you log in through your wife's credentials?
Let's see.
Or give us your email address, not your wife's, and we will send you a new link.
Yeah, I the Joy to Shaw earthlink.net email address I sent to you. That's my email address.
Be careful about repeating that, okay? Just because we are streaming on YouTube. I don't want you to get a bunch of junk mail right for Christmas. So did you log, okay, so but you're logged into Zoom under that email address or different?
I'm logged on my Earthlink email address.
The one that you just repeated, the one that you just
Right.
provided?
Let's
Okay.
see.
I'll tell you what I'm gonna do, Mr. Shaw, I'm gonna put you back in the waiting room. And you're just going to bear with me. There's some other things I've got to take care of. I'm gonna
Okay.
go ahead and take care of those and we'll troubleshoot this. You may get a call from my coordinator, okay?
Okay. Okay.
All right, thanks, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we are on the record in cause number CR 23-248, State of Texas versus Jason Rashad Williams. Mr. Schmidt, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
State ready to proceed? This is also cause numbers CR 23-249, CR 23-250.
We're ready, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Williams, sir, if you'll raise your right hand, I'm going to place you under oath. Sir, do you swear that the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can lower your hand. Just make sure during your testimony that you speak up loudly and clearly. On the front, Mr. Schmidt, on the front. Lower there. You'll just tap it. Just,
Towards you.
no, towards, on,
Hold it down.
just one, there you.
There you go.
All right. Mr. Williams, your name is Jason Rashad Williams, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Williams, are you a United States citizen who reads, writes, and speaks English?
Yes.
And have you ever been diagnosed with any type of mental condition?
No.
And you can go ahead and have a seat if you want to. In this case, you are represented by your attorney, Mr. Richard Schmidt, is that correct?
Yes.
And are you pleased with Mr. Schmidt as your attorney?
Yes.
You feel like you've had enough time to discuss with him your cases to the point that you've had all of your legal questions answered?
Yes.
Is there anything about what's going on in court today or the paperwork that you signed that you do not understand?
No.
Mr. Schmidt, do you believe Mr. Williams to be competent today?
I do.
And you've explained to him his rights pertaining to each one of these cases, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
It's my understanding that Mr. Williams wants to enter into a plea agreement with the state of Texas to resolve all of his legal matters, correct?
That's correct.
And do you believe at this time that he understands to the point that he would be entering into each one of these agreements intentionally, knowingly, and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Williams, you are charged by indictment with the first degree felony offense of murder, the second degree felony offense of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Actually, 2 charges of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I see that the plea agreement and recommendation from the state today would be for you to plead to a lesser included offense of manslaughter rather than murder, which is a second degree felony and carries a maximum range of punishment up to 20 years and a minimum to 2 years and a possible fine not to exceed $10,000. I see that upon your plea to that charge, the state is agreeing to dismiss their other 2 aggravated assault with a deadly weapon charges and cause numbers CR 23-249 and CR 23-250. And also cause number CR 23-251, which is also an aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The terms of that plea agreement appear to be that upon your plea of guilt to that manslaughter charge, the state's recommending that the court review the evidence and then convict you of that offense, and then assess your punishment at 20 years confinement in prison with zero fine, $290 court costs, $170 in reimbursement fees. And the state is agreeing that your property that was seized to be released to your attorney, and then also a forfeiture of the weapon that was used in this offense. And upon receiving that sentence, you would also receive your total jail time credit for the time that you've already spent in jail of 441 days. Mr. Williams, is that your understanding of the plea agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Any questions about that?
No.
All right, understanding the range of punishment, understanding the plea agreement, and not having any questions. At this time, Mr. Williams, how do you plead to the second-degree felony offense of manslaughter?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty to that crime because you are in fact guilty of committing that crime?
Yes.
And has anybody threatened you today, forced you, or otherwise pressured you to plead guilty to that charge?
No.
All right, the court will accept the defendant's plea of guilt at this time. Mr. Schmidt, any objection to the stipulation of evidence?
No objection.
Stipulation of evidence is admitted and the court takes judicial notice of the defendant's judicial confession. Anything further from the state at this time?
No, Your Honor.
Anything further from the defense?
House.
All right, the court will review the evidence. All right, court having reviewed the stipulated evidence finds that there is sufficient evidence to convict Mr. Williams of manslaughter. Ms. Curry, before the court accepts or rejects the plea agreement, is there a position by the victim's family with regards to the plea?
Your Honor, they're here today, and I believe the victim's mother is going to allocute shortly. I did discuss this plea with him, Your Honor, and the legal reasons for doing this plea. And while they don't like it, there's nothing they like about the whole situation. In the end of our conversation, they recognized our reason for doing it and our reason for believing it was the best disposition for this case.
Thank you, Ms. Curry. All right, court having reviewed the evidence, court finds that there is sufficient evidence to convict the defendant of this offense. Court will follow the plea agreement today. Court convicts Jason Rashad Williams of manslaughter, assesses his punishment at 20 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division. The court dismisses under section 1245, cause number CR 23-250, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, cause number CR 23-249, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and cause number CR 23-251, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The court notes that in the judgment reflects that there's an agreement between the parties that the defendant's seized property shall be released to counsel for Mr. Williams, Mr. Richard Schmidt, and the court hereby forfeits the weapon, a black Glock 45 caliber semi-automatic pistol, and a Springfield XDS black pistol, which was seized in the commission of this offense. The court orders Mr. Williams to pay court costs of $290, reimbursement fees of $170, and total, the court awards him jail time credit of 441 days. Prior to the court sentencing Mr. Williams, the court was given a victim impact statement. Court has reviewed that, signed that, and returned that to counsel for the state. The court did notate that there was a claim of restitution, victim impact statement. Court finds that there's no restitution claim as part of this plea agreement. Has that been addressed with the family?
Yes, Judge, and while they may seek reimbursement for counseling fees, et cetera, through crime victims compensation with the state, there was nothing here, as is frequently the case with murder, a horrible offense. There is nothing here that qualifies for court-ordered restitution in a criminal judgment. There is one thing, Judge, I would like to just make clear for the family. The court has noted the dismissal under 1245, but in compliance with 1245, the defendant has acknowledged his legal culpability for those offenses and has signed that acknowledgement for the court.
Thank you, Ms. Gray. Anything further from the defense, Mr. Schmidt?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Williams, you're hereby remanded to the custody of the sheriff so he can carry out the terms and conditions of the sentence. I'm gonna have you come forward to be fingerprinted with Deputy Martinez. After that, you'll return to council table for understanding that there's an allocution, correct, Ms. Gray?
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Curry, at this time, there's a member of the family that would like to allocute. They made it so.
Yes, Judge, thank you. It'll be Miss Cynthia Holmes.
Court is going to direct the court reporter not to transcribe this portion.
Okay. My name is Santa Holmes. I come here for my daughter, Caitlin Elizabeth Holmes. I didn't bring anything with me. I just want to speak from my heart. Mr. Williams, you took my daughter's life, which was senseless. Senseless. She was 31. She was just beginning her life. And I thank God that I taught her who God was. When all this happened, I actually hated you. But I know God, and he dealt with me. I'm not saying that I hate you now, but I'm there. But my daughter, she had so much to live for. She didn't even have kids yet, and she loved kids. She loved kids. You destroyed our family and probably yours over, to me, was demonic. You let the devil infuse your soul, because I just didn't see that was so, I don't even know what to say about that. It was just so senseless. I've never been in this situation, and I pray to God I pray to God no one ever has to go through a situation like this. My daughter, she was a regular person, just trying to do what was right in this society. And she had just moved here and was so happy. I hadn't seen my daughter that happy since she was 15. She was so happy. And she was ready. She was ready for life. And my family, my children, it's like we can't even really grasp that she's really, really gone. It just feels like, I don't know, I can't even describe it. But I can tell you this. My God, he gave me my sign. If you believe in God, she's fine. But I still would rather her here, because she was still young and we still had a lot of life to live. She always told me, Mama, I'm going to take care of you and Daddy when y'all get old, because the younger two, they don't know what they're doing. And I thought it was real, because she loved old people. She loved elderly. Since one of her first jobs was as a CNA, and they loved her. Everybody, all her patients loved her at that age. And I was like, Katie, that's a gift. She was a hairdresser. She was a big sister. She had just had, we just had, I just had grandkids, and she loved kids. So that'll tell you how her heart really was. I did my crime. I did my crime. So I know there's a God, because he held me up all through this. And I said I wasn't going to sit up here and lament on a lot of stuff. I just wanted you to know that she was a daughter. She was a sister. She was an aunt, cousins, nieces that wasn't really nieces and nephews. And I want to leave you with this. My grandson Jupiter, he said, yeah, out the blue, we driving, going to the store. Yeah, is that man gonna go to hell for killing Tika? Tika boy, that was their thing. Tika boy. Called each other Tika boy. I told him, I said, if he goes to God and really repents and is sincere, yeah, he's gonna definitely go to heaven instead of hell. I said, but I don't know him only by the actions that he did to my daughter over something that was not just senseless. That's all I wanted to say. And I don't hate you, but it's going to take a long time for me to even, and I'm looking at you. I just can't believe it. You actually ruined your life too.
Ms. Curry, any other allocutions?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
All right. All right, we can go ahead and take Mr. Williams back into custody and back to the sheriff's office. Yes.
I've got, yeah, I got to make yours. Do you want one? Do you need to reset?
All right, so Shaw, this is.
They couldn't figure it out. Go ahead.
Whatever reason, I've not figured it out yet, but I can't, the simultaneous interpretation tool where you can interpret simultaneously to the defendant is not, it's not available. It doesn't show, it doesn't allow me to authorize you to do that for whatever reason. So what we'll do is we'll just have to do it the old fashioned old school way. I'll talk, stop, give you a chance to interpret. You can give it back to me. We'll just go a little slowly that way. And then we'll figure this out for the next time to where it can be real time simultaneous, okay? Ms. Tabor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Y'all ready?
Yes, sir. It won't let us turn our camera on.
Bobby, I've just got his pen out.
I know. He's gonna run out of ink today.
All right. Mr. Shaw, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to raise your right hand. I'm going to swear you in as a foreign language interpreter. Mr. Shaw, do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will make a true translation of the statements of the court, the questions of counsel, and the testimony to be given by the witness in the matter now on trial to the best of your skill and judgment, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, thank you. If you'll go ahead and state your name and your license number, please.
My name is Jimmy Shaw. I'm a Chinese Mandarin interpreter. My license number is A02.
Okay, and so we are on the record. So before we begin, Mr. Adams, I'm sure you've been there watching this whole process not go as planned. So what we're going to do is in a moment, I'm going to call the case. And once I begin calling the case, Mr. Then you can begin your interpretation. And we're going to have to do it the old school way: question, interpretation, answer, interpretation. So be mindful of that for Mr. Shaw as we go. All right. So this is only arraignment today, so I'm thinking it'll be okay, but we'll try to get these issues fixed for next time. So we'll go ahead and begin by calling the case. This is cause number CR 24-230, State of Texas versus Wei-Jian Chen.
陈先生，这个是德州的案子 CR24-00230，然后是对于你的控诉。
Mr. Chen, you are charged by indictment with a second-degree felony offense of money laundering.
陈先生，你被控第二等的那个重罪，然后呢是洗钱的罪名，它的金额是15万到30万之间。
Mr. Adams, you are here as counsel for Mr. Chen, is that correct?
Adam 先生，你是这个陈先生的律师是吗 ？Sorry.
That is correct, Your Honor. I'm Mr. Chen's counsel of record.
是的，我是陈先生的这个律师代表。
Mr. Adams, are you ready for arraignment?
Adam 先生，你是不是准备好了要进行诉讼的这个起诉的这个案子？
We're present, ready to proceed.
Yes，我们准备好了，可以进行了。
All right, does your client waive the formal reading of the indictment?
是不是你的这个客户陈先生，是不是不需要再做这个正式的对他的起诉的诉讼，再陈述一遍，是吗？
No, Your Honor.
All right.
不需要。
All right, you would like to have the indictment presented by the state to the defendant?
We would, yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
All right, state, do you have the indictment prepared?
I do, Your Honor.
All right. And I'll tell you what, let me do this, Mr. Chin. I'm going to display it so that when the prosecutor reads it, you'll be able to refer to it, if that will help you.
OK， 陈先生，所以法官呢要让这个起诉官把对于你的控诉正式的再陈述一遍。
All right, Mr. Shaw, can you see that document?
Yes， 陈先生，这是对你的正式起诉的书面正式的文件，你可以看得见吗？
All right,
请你讲话，请你讲话，不要点头。I asked him to use a verbal responding, do not just shake hand or nod head, just it has to be verbal, louder enough for everybody to hear.
okay. All right, at this time, Mr. Hartwell, as prosecutor for the state, if you will go ahead and present the indictment.
Okay.
You go ahead and interpret that, Mr.
OK， 这个德州对于这个Van Zandt County，
I'm sorry, Mr. Shaw. I'm sorry, Mr. Shaw. I'm going to have Mr. Hartwell read it. I was just telling you to go ahead and interpret that I was instructing the prosecutor to read the indictment.
Okay, Mr. Hartwell, can we go section by section, so not too much, so it will be difficult to interpret it. We'll go. Is it a short one? Okay, just one page. All right. Okay,
Yes.
then that's okay. We can finish in one setting.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Go ahead, Mr. Hartwell.
Thank you, Your Honor. CR 24-230. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, the grand jury for the county of Van Zandt, state of Texas, duly selected, impaneled, sworn, charged, and organized as such at the July term AD 2024 of the 294th Judicial District Court for said county, upon their oaths present in and to said court at said term that Wei Jian Chen, hereinafter styled defendant, on or about August 1st, 2024, and before the presentment of this indictment in the county and state aforesaid, did then and there knowingly acquire and maintain an interest in and conceal and possess and transport the proceeds of criminal activity, namely illegal drug trafficking and human trafficking, and the value of the funds was $150,000 or more, but less than $300,000, against the peace and dignity of the state, signed foreman of the grand jury.
陈先生，这是起诉官对于你的正式起诉。这个正式起诉的呢，在 Grand Jury 的这个陪审团呢，他们已经接受了，在Van Zandt 德州的County 里面，然后呢，我们经过正式的这个处理，然后在7月2024年，然后在这个法院294的法院，然后做了这样子的决定，然后对于你的 控诉是8月1号2024年，然后你在洗钱的嫌疑，有关于这个非法的跟买卖毒品，还有这个转债这个做人蛇的活动，然后呢金额呢是在15万跟30万之间，现在对你正式的起诉。
All right, Mr. Chen, how do you plead to this charge?
陈先生，你对于检察官对于你的控诉，你有什么样子的反应？你的回答是你认罪吗？还是不认罪？
No guilty.
请你讲大声一点。
No guilty.
I'm not guilty, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. The court will enter Mr. Chen's plea of not guilty into the record, and the court will set this matter for pretrial hearing.
陈先生，现在这个法院把你的回应不认罪的回应正式收录在法院的这个记录里面，然后呢，我们会准备下一步的在开庭前的这个处理，对于你的案子进行。
Mr. Adams, if you'll check your calendar, are you available on January 7th, January 9th?
检察官，请你看一下你的日历，你是不是1月7号跟9号那天有空，能够进行处理这件案子？
Your Honor, I would prefer January 9.
陈先生，你的律师要1月9号开始出庭为你。
Very well. The court sets Mr. Chen's case for hearing on January 9th at 2 p.m.
好，现在这个法院现在把这个时间定在1月9号，2025年下午2点钟进行审案。
Thank you, Your Honor.
Is there anything further, Mr. Adams?
No, I don't have anything else. It's already translated.
Okay. Mr. Adams, anything further on behalf of Mr. Chen?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Chen. We'll see you on January 9th at 2 p.m.
好，陈先生，谢谢你。然后1月9号，2025年下午，然后我们会在这法庭见面。
Okay.
好，谢谢。Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Shaw. I appreciate you being here today. We'll figure out we may have to do some testing with you for future reference, and we'll figure out that issue to make it more simultaneous. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Your Honor.
Thank you for
Thank
being
you,
here today.
everyone.
We appreciate you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Hey, Your Honor, we're ready when you are.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Schmidt, who would you like first?
If we could, I guess I can't see who Miss Abraham has in the jail court, whoever she wants to bring.
Who's ready over there?
We have everyone present.
Everyone, you got Ms.
Well, we can go in order then. Amber Gregson.
Bring Ms. Gregson up, please. This is cause number CR 23-182 and 183, State of Texas versus Amber Elizabeth Gregson. For docket call, Ms. Gregson, can you see Mr. Schmidt okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Mr. Schmidt, we're set for docket call. Go ahead.
That's correct, Judge. I think we're fairly close to a resolution, or not. We'd ask that we have a short reset on Ms. Gregson for 12/17, if that's available for a docket call.
Any objection from state?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, there being no objection, court will reset Ms. Gregson for docket call December 17th at 1:30. Jacob Thomas Hall. All right, this is cause number CR 24-136, and Mr. Hall is set for docket call.
He is on docket call, Judge. We're gonna ask for an additional docket call setting. I feel like we're close to resolving his case, but if we had a little bit more time, a January 7th date, would be great.
Any objection from state?
No objection, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, court will set Mr. Hall for a final docket call January 7th at 1:30. Court calls Mason Edwin Hogue, CR 24-233, CR 24-234. Mr. Hogue is set for arraignment in each cause.
That's correct, Judge. In each cause, Mr. Hoag's name is spelled correctly. We'll waive formal reading of those documents, enter a plea of not guilty on each, ask for a pretrial setting. I suspect January 7th would be fine. And then I will meet with Mr. Hoag to go over his discovery here in the next few days.
All right, court finding that Mr. Hogue has waived the formal requirements of arraignment, enters his plea of not guilty into the record on each case, sets this matter for pretrial hearing January 7th at 1:30. Mr. Hogue, if you make bail in your case, your hearing date will be the same, but your hearing time will be at 9 a.m. in the morning, okay? Jason Wayne McDonald, CR 23-151. All right, Mr. McDonald is set for docket call.
That's correct, Judge. I was in contact with a witness in Mr. McDonald's case who's providing me with an affidavit here shortly, but I think all said and told, we'd ask for a final docket call on the December 17th date.
Any objection from state?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, court sets Mr. McDonald for final docket call December 17th at 1:30.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome, sir. Court calls Reno Santana Moreno, CR 24-242. All right, Mr. Moreno is set for arraignment today, Mr. Schmidt.
That's correct, Judge. We understand the charges against Mr. Moreno's name is correctly. We'll waive formal reading of the indictment, enter a plea of not guilty, and ask for a pretrial setting. Judge, in this case, I don't know if you have a little bit later in January would be helpful.
January 21st.
January 21st would be great, and I will meet with Mr. Moreno in the jail shortly to go over his discovery.
All right, court finds that Mr. Moreno, having waived the formal requirements of arraignment, enters his plea of not guilty into the record. Court sets this for pretrial hearing on January 21st at 1:30.
Thank you.
Stephen Arkell Pickron, CR 24-28. Mr. Pickron is set for docket call.
That's correct, Judge. And I've gone over the state's offer with Mr. Pickron. We need to meet one final time. I'd ask for a final docket call on that December the 17th date. We will either have a resolution or we'll announce ready for trial.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Court sets Mr. Pickron for a final docket call December 17th at 1:30. Cindy Marie Smith, CR 21-190. All right, Ms. Smith is set for pretrial today.
That's correct, Judge. We don't have any contested pretrial motions on file at this time. We'll ask for a docket call setting on the January 7th docket.
All right, finding there are no pretrial issues, the court sets Ms. Smith for docket call January 7th at 1:30. Michael Scott Williams, CR 24-193. Mr. Williams is set for docket call.
Judge, we'll ask the court for an additional docket call setting on the January 7th date.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, there being no objections, court sets Mr. Williams for docket call January 7th at 1:30. Eden Mendez, CR 24-239. All right, Mr. Mendez is set for arraignment.
That's correct, Judge. He's set for an arraignment. I've received a copy of the indictment. His name is correct. We'll waive formal reading of the indictment. Enter a plea of not guilty, ask for a pretrial setting, and I will meet with Mr. Mendez to go over discovery in the jail shortly.
You want that January 7th or later?
Later, please, Judge.
All right, the court finds that Mr. Mendez, having waived the formal requirements of arraignment, enters his plea of not guilty into the record. Court sets this matter for pretrial hearing on January 21st at 1:30.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome. All right, Ms. Tabraham,
Yes, Your Honor.
does that conclude all of our business at the jail today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, are there any other issues at the jail we need to address?
Not that I know of.
Okay. All
We'll
right.
see you in a minute.
Yeah, before you log off, I think there is one additional thing we need to address today. One of the friends of the court is having a birthday today. And I think I'd be remiss if I didn't say happy birthday to Nikki Salzman. I understand that she watches quite frequently. Today's her birthday. So I want to say happy birthday, Nikki. Hope you have a great day.
He did too.
He did.
Yes.
I deny it.
Got a bunch of witnesses right there to that. So
Even told
anyway,
how old
Nikki,
you are.
happy birthday. I'll make sure that this one is recorded for you to use against him at his trial. All right, with that, we are adjourned.